Alright, hello you lovelies. This is my non-spoiler Megalopolis review in a stream of consciousness style because I don't have time to edit this and I've got a bunch of videos to film today, but that kind of works because this is a hard to spoil, if unspoilerable, stream of consciousness movie. So it really ties it all together. The format of this review is kind of the experience of the film. If you are new to this page, I do comic book news and reviews as well as movie news and reviews, so hit that subscription bell. I just turned 36 last week and I want to hit 36K for the month of my birthday. So hit that subscription bell. We're getting very close. We're probably going to pass 35K today, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. It means a lot. You're on my own personal page. Also, if you're curious about Megalopolis, hit that like. Leave a comment below if you've seen it. Let me know what you thought. If you're excited to see it, let me know if you thought. After you see it, let me know what you thought. All right, let's talk about Megalopolis. Megalopolis is a movie that has a lot to say that I don't think knows how to say it. It is a movie of duality. It is a movie that is in many ways, a fight against itself. And that's really complicated as a viewer because I'm not sure where the enjoyment comes except for from the conversation around conversations in the film. But as a narrative, it's kind of diametrically opposed against itself. A lot of the movie's ideas are grand and bold and wonderful, and it's clear Francis Ford Coppola has been trying to make this film for 30 plus years, and it feels like a lot of ideas have been cooking for 30 years, but they're still not done or they're overdone. It's a very heavy-handed approach to what filmmaking is, especially from a master filmmaker. Now, the actual technical prowess is there, the acting is mostly there, the story is, I think, the issue because it is this grand spectacle about New Rome as a commentary on the American Empire, which is our present state of, is this empire falling? What does it mean to watch an empire fall? Does an empire fall in a day? Does an empire fall slowly over time? Is there a moment when it shifts? A lot of big, broad questions about wealth inequality and about like what political power is versus wealth versus real power versus creativity. It's looking at the future versus the present. And if all of this sounds like it'd be wonderful and for you, that's what I thought. If all of this sounds like it'd be confusing in one movie, that's what I think. If all of this sounds like it's for you, it absolutely has questions that I think are worth raising. But I don't think it has answers, and that's not necessarily a problem, but I feel like at times it tried to have answers. And it really conflicts with the overall messaging in the film. Like, for example, there's an entire subplot about wealth inequality. It's actually a plot, a main plot, but there's a subplot about buildings being torn down to grow a new type of building. A megalopolis is in this case the idea of this mega metropolis, but in this specific narrative, using new technology and new building materials conceived by this absolute genius, Cesar, as played by Adam Driver. And the problem is the teardown of buildings that are present is looking to the present, and the idea of building anew is looking to the future. But the film doesn't shy away from the present being people that are underserved and impoverished and out of options altogether, any option. And it asks, what is the cost of setting up the future? And by the time you get to the end, it not only doesn't feel like it's addressed all of the things it should just to get the narrative across, it doesn't really establish what it's trying to say in its commentary on Caesar, on the underprivileged, on people that sided with them by way of political maneuvering. And it's really complicated because you've got characters like Shia LaBeouf's character who are in politics and are representing current political leaders and political figures as archetypes. And the way he does things, you believe in some of it. And the way Caesar does things, you believe in some of it. And Giancarlo Esposito, he's the current mayor, and you believe in some of it. But you never believe in any of these characters enough that you understand what you are meant to be feeling or where you're meant to stand. And politics are complicated. It is not as black and white as the tribalism the internet wants you to believe. It's not as red or blue as the world and those parties want you to believe. And I like the nuance of this film not spelling everything out and saying, here is what you should think. Here is a belief system. At the same time, it doesn't say anything to the point that it doesn't feel like it has anything to say, while being a movie that has a lot of thoughts it wants to convey. So this is kind of the opposite of Civil War. I personally got a lot out of Alex Garland's Civil War because it didn't pick a side. It very beautifully was able to tell of the horrors of the fall of the American Empire without having to say the bad guy, the good guy. This is doing a similar thing, but the lack of narrative clarity makes it just heavy-handed philosophical ponderings that don't always work or feel like they have a landing. And it mixes in Roman concepts and Roman language and Latin and Shakespeare and poetry and lots of really beautiful things, but it doesn't handle them beautifully. It's full of a lot of art that isn't handled artfully. It's full of performances that feel like they're in different movies, and some of that works, but actors I love, like Aubrey Plaza, who I enjoyed, like in everything, feel like they don't get a purpose beyond a one-note drive. And that really underserves her performance, the character, which then underserves the narratives that she functions in. So the whole movie feels like a lot of interesting puzzle pieces, but it's like it forms 5 puzzles, and those 5 puzzles don't really look good together. I like the questions it raises. I like the ideas it posits. I like the journey of some of the characters, but the movie felt like 4 hours, and it's 2:10, 2:15. It's such a shame at what it could have been, but clearly in 30 years it only got more convoluted, so I'm not sure what would have helped it. It's also a movie that bizarrely films made just for film bros. It feels like it was filmed just for the kids in college that make their thesis film, and they go like, you wouldn't understand it. And in talking to everyone I've talked to, most of us didn't understand its goals and its reach, and I'm afraid it's made for people to just go, well, you wouldn't understand it. I'm not sure what the film's overall goals were because it feels so disjointed and muddled. And I wish I liked it more because I like movies like this. Civil War's in my top 10 of the year. This was my more anticipated film of them, and it does the exact opposite in how you walk out feeling. I left feeling like I got less of a message than even Coppola describing the film. I feel like I got less of a emotional impact than Adam Driver's character on paper would feel. I feel like if I read some of Adam Driver's dialogue, it would feel more impactful because it wouldn't feel as convoluted as everything the movie's messaging made it to be. So I do like the idea of looking to the future and what that costs the present. I do like the idea of what a madman or creator is, but everyone feels kind of like the antagonist in this film. And again, maybe that's the message, but that means you don't really get to connect because no one feels like your eyeline or you or where you would be in this world. And I don't know, it's kind of messy. It's real messy. But the costume design is some of the best I've seen in years. I love the wardrobe in this film. Some of the visuals will stick with me. Some of them are really cheap looking. I like some of the architecture and ideas behind Megalopolis itself. And again, I wanted to like this. This is me trying to find things now at the end, but it just doesn't quite work, and that is a real shame because what a long time to put into something that doesn't work, and what an incredible team of people behind it to put into something that doesn't work. It does have maybe my favorite Jon Voight performance since Mission Impossible or Anaconda, for what that's worth. It does have Shia LaBeouf basically acting like Shia LaBeouf's description of art, and the way Shia LaBeouf sees metamodernism and art and concepts of irony and ironic sincerity and sincere irony, and the way he sees the way we express art. That is all kind of what the film feels like, but even when you listen to Shia describe art or his experience with art, it's got to be adjusted to the perspective of your experience of art through it, and this film doesn't allow for your own perspective. It doesn't allow for you to have the input required, which is ironic considering how meta the film is, that there's actually someone speaking to the camera at every showing of the film. The film actually has a moment where the fourth wall is broken to the point where an audience member communicates with the camera and with Adam Driver and with his character, and that sets off events that turn into something. But even that moment felt completely disjointed from the rest of the film because it just happened, and then the film takes such a tonal shift, it feels like an intermission, but it's not really an intermission. Everything is disjointed, and maybe that's the point. Maybe the point of the film is to have the conversation I'm having with you now, but at the end of the day, it didn't feel like anything that was resolute, and I think after 30 years I'd want at least that. I don't even know how to have a conversation about the film, to be honest. And like I said, it's a stream of consciousness that isn't really spoilable, but I did avoid stuff in the third act. I have avoided some of the concepts that would have spoiled things, but it also doesn't land in a way that feels like it'll ever feel complete. Yeah, I feel like I know Megalopolis less having seen it than waiting to see it. I feel like it's an enigma. And maybe, again, that's the point. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen Megalopolis, what you think. I didn't love it. I'm glad to have seen it. It disappointed me in the lack of clarity of vision, except for, I guess, the lack of clarity of vision is maybe the idea that the Empire can't have a singular vision, and that is Megalopolis trying to unify a vision for the future at the cost of the present, and the film being our present experience with it is the cost. Like, maybe we don't get to have that clarity of vision until the future, because the cost is this confusion. I don't know. But I want to know what you think of the film. Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like. What an odd thing. Megalopolis, now playing. Odd. Follow me for more reviews that are more coherent than this. Follow me for comic and movie news that is much more coherent than this. I look forward to discovering what this film means for others, so maybe it'll help clarify what this film means for me. That's the power of the internet. So let me know what it meant to you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.